Welcome home. I'm Jarrell from Mountain Home, and today I want to share with you my review of the Aklot 8-string tenor ukulele. Now I think this is a fantastic instrument straight off the bat, I'll say that, and I'll share my thoughts with you on why I feel that way about this. This is incredible value for money, and the description of this product is mahogany, the solid top. It says okume neck, and some sort of synthetic a laminate, like a high pressure laminate or HPL. So HPL for the fretboard, and I am not entirely sure what the bridge is here, but I believe they are likely the same HPL high pressure laminate material. It's supposedly supposed to be durable. It's quite a hard build material, so I don't really have any problems with it. I think it looks quite nice. It's a very dark luster to it, and it's quite pleasant overall. Now you might be wondering what you get for this price range. I found this for about 77 Australian dollars. In US, you're probably looking starting around the $65 mark or around there. I think that is unreal for an instrument of this build quality. I don't see any particular flaws with the instrument itself in terms of build. I've had it for about a week. I've been playing it just about every day, and there's nothing about the build quality that makes me feel suspicious or feel like I really got a cheap product. It plays and looks like a much more expensive instrument. That being said, you're not going to get some aesthetic things that you would get on other instruments. For example, you're not going to have the binding that you see along the edges normally of other instruments. You sort of have this sort of dull plastic tuning machines. Those can be replaced, obviously. It's not a big deal if that is important to you. But to me, that's not something that matters so much. What matters to me is the playability, the comfort of the instrument, and the overall sound that it makes. Now, I noticed the top on this, it says solid mahogany. I noticed that it's a bit thicker than I've seen on other tenor guitars, particularly from Kamies. I have tenor guitars from Kamies that have a thinner top, and they just have a much more vibrant sound that really rings. That being said, the thickness of this top it ensures that there'll be no warping or damage due to having extra strings. And it does give it a nice warm sound, which sounds fantastic indoors. You heard a bit of a sound sample. I was playing with a bit of a thicker pick. I like to use a mandolin pick, and the thickness rating on this says 3 millimeter. So I find the tuning machines, these are sort of the cheapest tuning machines. You'll see these on entry-level instruments. They are smooth. I don't have any problems with them. They didn't seem to skip or jump. And in particular, these are Aquila Nile gut strings. These are the ones that came with it. You have one wound. They sound fine. Of course, you can change the strings out to suit your preference for how you want the instrument to sound. Something I did notice is I'm sure they're using some sort of CNC machine to cut the headstock logo, this little bird, and the rosette. So this is not like an inlay for a rosette. It is carved with computer. It's fine from a distance, but when you look at it up close, you can see that a computer controlled, machine is sort of cut, and it's quite pixely on the bird when you look at it. Kind of looks like graphics from an old video game from the 80s. So up close, maybe you won't like that. From a distance, you're not really going to notice that. I think it looks fine, and again, aesthetically, obviously, that's not where the value for money is with this instrument. The value for money in this instrument comes from the playability and the incredible sound. Now, this is just my personal thoughts on the 8-string tenor ukulele. I don't really like the Re-Entrant strings. And what I mean by that is that these here, these are an octave pair. So that means one string actually is going up, and the other string is an octave lower. Now the problem is, if you're playing a melody or any sort of line where you want to move down musically, it's very confusing, because when you go from that string to this string, it actually goes up when musically you'd want to be moving downward. So I'll show you an example. wanted to move down musically, but I have no control over that. It actually went up. And when I want to go up musically, when I move from this string to this string, it actually moves downward. So for picking, it's not ideal. There are better setups. This is very easy to get around. This is just the default setup. You can easily replace this with a classical guitar string, which are quite cheap, easy to find, easy to get. Just replace that. Of course, you will have to make some slight modifications with a file to the saddle and the nut. These are bone, which is very nice to see. That's a great material to see here, especially on entry-level instruments. You often see plastic, which is not ideal. They really don't do a great job of transmitting the vibrations from the string to the instrument top. But these are bone. This is an ideal material. It is compensated, and the intonation is pretty good all throughout. Now, to start with, the nut height is a bit high, so the action is a bit higher than I would like it to be, and because of that, the intonation suffers a little bit around here. But once you get, to 12, it's very close to being the right intonation overall. I do see the saddle leaning forward a bit as the strings tend to pull forward, so the saddle was cut a little bit thinner than the slot on the bridge is asking for. It's not really a big deal. In this situation, it still sounds fine and it still plays great, and the intonation is very good on this. Not perfect, but very good. If I were to work on this instrument, which I will do, I'll lower the height of the slots on the nut. That will help the intonation along here as well. So I feel like this instrument has a beautiful warm tone. It really sings. It's ideal for strumming. So if you are an ukulele player that is strumming out chords for a rhythm, this is fantastic because these extra strings here really do give a nice sparkle to your sound. The two higher strings are unison, so they are the same. There we go. That's quite a powerful sound, truly fantastic, and much of that power, again, does come from these octave gears. It sounds quite good with tremolo as well. With a thinner pick, it's much more difficult to get a smooth tremolo sound, which is why I like to use these thicker mandolin picks for tremolo. There we go, fantastic. It does come with a button for a strap on the bottom and up top here, and it does a great job of holding its tuning. It's quite light, actually. It's surprisingly light, but a little bit heavier than the Kami's tenor ukulele that I have. What I really like about these Aklot instruments is the finish they use on the wood is this very rich, healthy looking sort of red. I wouldn't necessarily call it red, but if you compare it to the Kami's ukuleles, the Kami's have a brown look to them, and these are more red, which I think has, it just looks very nice. It's nice having it sitting on a stand in your house. It's nice having it hang on a wall. They just look fantastic, and you wouldn't expect to get such a quality instrument at the price range that you are paying for this, but it's shocking how great this is. So who would I recommend this to? If you already are an ukulele player, just get it, grab it. They're really fantastic. There isn't anyone I wouldn't recommend this to. Again, it comes set up with Re-Entrant tuning, very easy to change on your own. So if you are into more picking and you want the low strings there, the low C and the low G, very easy to do yourself. It's at such a great price range. This even makes a great gift if you want to give this to a friend, family member, musician. It's fantastic. It'd be great to give to a kid if they maybe want to try their first instrument, because it's quite pleasant to play. And if someone is bad at playing an instrument, it's better that they learn on an instrument that sounds nice, so that people around them actually, can hear something that sounds quite nice, even if it's not being played well. This instrument almost plays itself. It's so lovely. Now, mine came with this padded bag, which is exactly the same as the bags that come with the Kamies, ukuleles, especially in the tenor range. I didn't bring my caliper, so I can't measure, but boy howdy, that's a lot of padding. That's quite thick. This is very protective case. I would feel very comfortable putting the instrument in here and then chucking it in the back of my car. I wouldn't chuck it, of course. I'm quite careful with my instruments, but it's shockingly quite thick. So this is one of the cases that gives me more confidence in keeping my instrument safe and transporting it. So this is a great gig bag. Mine also did come with a few picks. There's a bunch there. There's this really nice one that sort of looks like abalone, so I think that's pretty nice. It's nice of them to include that. It did include a strap and a tuner as well, and also a wrench to adjust the truss rod. So the truss rod is in there, very easy to adjust. Mine I did need to tighten a bit when I received it, and it's not that difficult to do. If you'd like, I can make a video just showing you quickly. Sometimes it can vary from instrument to instrument which direction you're supposed to turn, so it can be a bit confusing. The backpack straps, I haven't worn them. They feel a little bit sharp on the edges, but again, the instrument's not very heavy, so it's probably not going to be a big deal. I don't personally use it as a backpack, but the strap is, this just gives me confidence. This is a good way to transport your instrument. So that's all I've got for today. I hope you'll check in soon. I have more reviews coming soon on other instruments, and I'm also working on some modification projects as well to convert instruments into some cool custom stuff. So, thanks very much for stopping by and for spending some time with me today. I hope you come home again soon. Take care of yourselves, and I've got more music for you coming soon. See ya.